Ja tultiin nyt asenteella kovaa. Darts-mestarit, kultaa pokkaa, keskittyneisyys. Voiton tahto mukana, me ei pyydetä, oma peräisyys on kunniaa. Tähtäily tinkissä me valloitetaan, muut perässä meitä.
Oikein upeaa torstaita kaikille ja tervetuloa kuuntelemaan Tupla Ykköstä. Rakkaat kuulijani, tämä jakso on nauhoitettu jo etukäteen, sillä minä vietän lomaviikkoa ja kaikki mahdollinen palaute, yhteydet vastaavat, niin niihin palataan sitten vasta ensi viikolla, kun pääsen lomareissulta kotiin. Se ei silti tarkoita sitä, etteikö teitä kuulijoita hemmoteltaisi. Tänään meillä on vieraana JDC eli Junior Darts Corporationin toimitusjohtaja Darren Barson, mies, jolla on ollut visio ja siitä visiosta on loppujen lopuksi sitten kasvanut yksittäisen Darts-akatemian kautta suuri kansainvälinen organisaatio, joka tukee junioreita ja toimii kolmikannassa Professional Darts Corporationin ja Vinmaun kanssa. Ja luonnollisesti Vinmaun kautta siihen tulee sitten tuo Red Dragonkin, kun he ovat sama firma. Mutta ennen kuin mennään Darren Barsonin juttuihin, niin muutama asia liittyen kysymyksiin, joita olette lähettäneet minulle tai Hannulle. Eli kun juttelette tuosta, tai hienosti menee tämä puhuminenkin tälleen yksittäin, kun näitä juttuja täällä yrittää selitellä. Kun te mietitte, että miksi meidän kisakalenteri on sen näköinen kuin se on, niin me väistämme kotimaisia kisoja, eli kun kotimaassa on iso ranking-kisa tai sitten liigakierros, pieniä ranking-kisoja, me pyrimme ensisijaisesti väistämään niitä. Sen lisäksi me pyrimme väistämään PDCn ja JDCn kansainvälisiä kisoja, joita heitetään, joihin mahdollisesti meidän JDCn omat junnut menevät, ja sen lisäksi me väistämme ADCn kisoja. Ymmärrämme toki, että joidenkin mielestä meidän tulisi väistää myös VDF:n kisoja. Emme kuitenkaan pysty siihen, sillä kisakalenteri on todella täynnä. Ja jotta me saamme meidän toimintamme pyörimään, niin meidän täytyy tämä asia jollain lailla laittaa sitten oikeisiin mittasuhteisiin. Näin ollen VDF:n ulkomailla heitettävät kisat, pois lukien tietysti sitten Tallinna ja Riika, niin eivät ole kilpailuja, joita me lähtisimme JDC-karsinnoissa väistämään. Tärkeä prioriteetti on, että kotimaassa annamme mahdollisuuden valita mahdollisimman monipuolisesti eri kilpailuja. Infotilaisuudet JDC-akatemiaan liittyen 17. päivää heinäkuuta otetaan Teams-info kello 18. Tähän ilmoittautumiset sähköpostiosoitteeseen info@jdcfinland.fi. 19. päivä heinäkuuta Lietsussa on Lietsun kulman telttakarkelot. Näissä telttakarkeloissa on Darts-kaupan piste ja siellä tulee olemaan myös JDC-info. Ja sitten 26. päivä heinäkuuta Kärettömissä, eli silloin painellaan Etelä-Pohjanmaalle kertomaan, mikä tämä JDC oikein on. Ja ensimmäinen virallinen tapahtuma sitten 2.8. eli elokuun alussa Pancho Villa Openissa, niin sitä edeltää Huittisissa JDCn ensimmäinen isompi kokoontuminen. Pancho Villa Open 2.8. todellakin Huittisten keilaa pelihallilla. Siellä on 3 sarjaa, 170 tasurit ja tasuriparit. Hyvät palkinnot jälleen kerran, kun Jylhän Henkka ja Korpisaaren Anna toimittaa ilmoittautumiset kisailun kautta. Huomatkaa myös, että laivaliput on myynnissä osoitteessa www.jdcfinland.fi. Laivalipuissa sen verran, kun niistä on kyselyä tullut, eli sinä voit ostaa itsellesi yhden lipun, tai sitten voit ostaa itsellesi vaikka koko hytin, mutta se yksi lippu on aina yksi paikka valitsemassanne hyttiluokassa sisältäen kaikki heitettävät sarjat. Ja meidän sarjat tullaan heittämään alkulohkot pooleissa tuolla laivareissulla, eli Se osallisuusmaksu sisältää 2 yötä laivalla sekä vähintään 10 heitettävää peliä. Riippuen sitten menestyksestä voittojen kautta voi saada matseja enemmän 10 siksi, kun shootout luonnollisesti on suora cup yhdestä poikki. Ja kuten sanottu, palautteisiin palataan ensi viikolla lomien loputtua. Näiden puheiden ja alustusten jälkeen annetaan tilaa Darren Barsonille.
Welcome to Tupla Ykkönen podcast, or D1 as is in Darren Barson's language. Today we're joined by someone who's not just shaping the future of darts, but also shaping the lives of young players around the world. Darren Barson, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you very much. I wish I could be sat next to you in that wonderful looking scenery rather than in my small, very small office.
Yeah, it's nice in Finland. 2 days a year we have a summer. So. But hey, we're gonna talk about you, Darren, not about Finnish summer. You are the CEO of the Junior Darts Corporation, or as we like to say, JDC. So let's go to the beginning. Why are you in darts, and what drives you into the darts, into the game in the beginning?
Well, to be honest, it was by chance. When we do these academy accreditation days, I often tell people how I got into it. So I think it's important that people realise that I haven't just run massive companies, invested lots of money into the JDC. I've invested myself and my time. I was heavily into soccer coaching, football coaching, and after a certain amount of time, started to get a little bit disheartened, should we say, with the expectation of a volunteer doing a sport for children. Football was quite hard to manage at that time. On a particular morning, I visited a local club where I used to play like pool or snooker, and met a guy who said, "You like darts, Darren, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I've watched darts, the lakeside, stuff like that on television now and again." He said, "There's a gentleman here looking to do darts academies, and we'd like to hold one here at the club." Right, so why are you telling me? He said, "Well, maybe you could be the coach." So then that started me and this relationship with Steve Brown, who's the founder and chairman of the Junior Darts Corporation. And I met Steve then, about a couple of weeks later, and got to understand what his philosophy was. And essentially, a bit like yours, is to try and find an opportunity for young people to enjoy our sport in a safe, non-pressurized, however competitive, but not pressure, and not like a school where they're being strictly taught, but somewhere they can just express themselves, enjoy the game, make some friends, blah blah blah. So he started an academy in Bristol and wanted to see if it would expand around the country. So I'm about an hour or so away from that area, and we have this club, and I spoke to Steve, we had some fun, we played some games with others, not just me, there was about 20 people there. And it transpired after that Steve asked me if I would be willing to start an academy. So I started an academy, and I've been through all of the process that anybody's ever done looking after children. You do, obviously, yourself with what you teach. You go through those days where how you manage yourself, how you manage the situation with lots of children. And I did it for 10 years. So I ran an academy for 10 years. Whilst doing that, I'm fully employed in my own job. And as my job is sort of going like this, the JDC is going like this, and there's a lot more academies, a lot more kids playing, and then we've got tournaments coming on, and we're like, whoa, this is getting pretty big. So I had to make a decision. What we did, Steve and I. And in April 2018, we decided that we needed somebody in office. We needed a full-time member of staff. So whether it was the right thing to do or not, I don't know. But I put my hand up and said, okay, we'll give it a go. And that's where we are today. So I started in that role, just helping administer the JDC. Then 18 months or so later, we had COVID. So that really did put a twist on things, as we all were aware. So no academies, no tournaments, nothing. So I was a little bit concerned. But yeah, after that, we've got some traction. The whole world started playing darts because they could do in COVID. So in a funny sort of way, that lockdown process actually helped the sport get to a lot more people. So my story really is, I frequented a venue that Steve came to see if they would like to run a darts academy. I ended up taking on that for about 10 years, and then proceeded to get involved more and more and more, and eventually took the job role as a full-time job. So yeah, that's sort of pretty much where I come from.
Do you have a specific point where you can say that this is what I want to dedicate myself to, and it's junior darts?
Oh.
Easy questions.
No. I think, yes, I can, actually. It was probably around that time, around 2018, 2017, where I started my academy in about 2012. And within that sort of 5-year period, I could see the potential because of the nature of how the growth of the industry was going well. So let's take the adults, for example. The Professional Darts Corporation were doing a very good job. It's starting to promote around the world, and World Series were coming on, and all sorts of things were happening. So because, like you, all children just need something to shoot for, and we need to have that in place. And I'm thinking, well, what's the pathway here? And I built a relationship up with the Professional Darts Corporation and realised that there is a future here for a lot of opportunity. So I thought that potentially having good partners involved, Wimmel exactly as another one, the risk for me personally, giving up a career to jump into this world of darts where there's nobody else to talk to, Miko. There's no other, chief executive of a junior organisation like this. So I needed to try and find myself, I suppose, as well. It was quite tricky. But yeah, I'd say 2017, I was up for it. Yeah, I think that was about the time.
Darren, now when we are talking about darts, I can see that you have the passion to be a coach. So is it more like that darts is like a coincidence sport for your passion that drives to be involved in the kid's life?
Yeah, sometimes we can use the word coaching as I'm not directly looking to always improve individuals. What I try and do is offer the opportunity, and it's that opportunity where I can see lots and lots of young people getting involved. That's what drives me on, not so much that I'm going to find the next Luke Littler or the next Michael van Gogh. And it's very much about, I see the value in our sport, in any sport really, getting together, having some competition, making friends, focusing on something, getting away from your normal life for an hour or two. All these things I think add a lot of value. And I haven't even talked about mathematical skills and working with numbers, which children do in darts. So for me, it was more about the whole thing as opposed to just coaching young children to be a better player.
So it's more like this goes much further than only the darts. This way that you want to be with the children.
Massively, and I hope that is the message that we give out when we work with people like yourself, doing academy accreditations and talking about academy life. There's so much more than just throwing a dart. I mean, there's that academy network is the foundation of how we live. Without that, I don't think the JDC would be quite the same. We'd just be just doing tournaments. It would be a promoter. I think having academies in people's lives, the volunteers, the parents, the children, the club owners, they all are part of this thing, which delights me, because I want to see young people doing something constructive and enjoying being with other people. I think a lot of the children in the world find that difficult, to have that kind of relationship with people and other children, whatever, outside of school, perhaps. And I think this is what we'd like to offer. Yeah, absolutely. And if people enjoy that, and adults enjoy it and want to become a coach, want to set up a whole ecosystem in their country about it. If a child wants to be a referee, a player, a podcaster, an interviewer, whatever, designer, making shirts, I don't know, as long as they get something out of that hour and a half a week, I'm happy.
Yeah, that sounds good. When we go to the we could say main event or the most valued event of JDC. The main event is the every week trainings that we have with the kids in our academies. I know, but when we talk about this big event, JDC World Championship in Gibraltar, so we Finns are coming there first time ever now this year. So tell us about the week at Gibraltar. Yeah,
sure. Hey, look, first and foremost, it's an experience. So the biggest thing of all is the children will experience our experience. They are going to be traveling. They're going to be meeting lots of different nationalities. They're going to be in a different place. They're going to understand a different cultures and all sorts. One of the best things about the World Championships is there are not only children from different countries, there are also adults from different countries who happen to be running academies or part of the JDC family. So you get to understand, so how do you get on in Belgium? How are you getting on in America? And you can network. It's a great place. But fundamentally, it's fun. And it is 5 days of darts. So if Team Finland come to the World Championships, the children will be able to represent themselves, and they're also representing their nation. So they'll have a couple of individual events, but most importantly is the World Cup, is where they can express and understand what it's like to play with others. Darts has gone very much into a singular sport, and a lot of the team stuff has sort of disappeared a little bit. So this is a great opportunity to feel valued by your teammates and the coaches, of course. And if you are one of these nations, which most are, they like to sort of celebrate together. They'll eat together. They'll spend time out of the darts arenas together. Bit of touristy stuff, whatever, and they'll go home with some great memories. But also they'll have 5 days of darts to do.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to have the trip to the Gibraltar. I have never been at Gibraltar, so
I forgot the main thing. They get to meet me.
Yeah, that's true. and Josh, are we gonna meet Josh there also?
Yes. Yes. Possibly. If not, but it depends, because we're referring to Josh, my son. He has a big job, and again, some of your viewing public probably won't understand this either and think, "Well, how is this happening?" He may be in Bahrain dealing with a schools project out in the Gulf. So potentially he might be there, he might not be.
Okay,
it's a crazy world, this darts. It really is.
Yeah, but everybody in Finland who are listening, so you're gonna meet Josh, because Josh has promised to me that he's coming over to Finland and
yes. Well, he will have to at some point. Yes.
Yeah. So when we talk about the pathway to the young players, so how does JDC help young players transition from local talent to international competitors? Maybe even professional, but the main thing to be a player who plays against players from other countries.
Yeah, well, we have done. I mean, the record speaks for itself. Way back, we had a young Irish gentleman who was part of an academy system called Keane Barry. And he then started to play JDC events, came to the World Championships, actually became the world champion for the junior world, and went on to be and has a career now as a professional in the game. Luke Littler is another one that would spend a lot of time in our world. He plays lots of other tournaments, but spent a lot of time with the JDC. And what we started doing, which was a bit different to some of the other youth events. Back in about 2015, 16, we decided that we would start to educate children playing in media. So we started thrusting microphones in their faces. We'd put the cameras on them. We'd make it quite a difficult format that really you've got to win. So we're pushing all these boundaries for these top players because we know we've got an academy system and other events that will allow the children to express if their talent, if they are not quite at that top level. So there's something for everybody, but at the top level and sort of your intermediate players, we start that training. The events are very strict. They start when they start, they finish when they finish. The times that we've said, we don't have any alcohol around when they're playing. We don't encourage too much interaction from anybody else. They're quite happy for them to watch, but really we want the children to understand that darts, essentially, you're going to be playing on your own, and you need to understand that and learn that. We'll also incorporate the children in helping to officiate, so whether they can help us with scoring and refereeing and all sorts of stuff. So our tournament structure, most of it, is very much about opening their eyes to, I'm going to be interviewed, I'm going to have my picture taken, I'm going to be asked lots of questions, I'm going to be on a camera, I'm going to be blah, blah, blah. So it was not just come and play a tournament, here's £20 for winning and off you go. And it was very much to try and, guide them to becoming a professional. Yeah, absolutely.
How big of a thing in this JDC program you think that all the etiquettes are? You have the Luke Humphreys darts etiquette, you have social media etiquette, things like this. How important is that for you?
Well, I mean, I think the key is to be consistent. So we try and do things the right way all the time. So whether it's dress code, whether it's how you behave, just your hockey etiquette as well, and just the behaviours are consistently reminded to the players about how they dress, how they behave themselves on the hockey, off the hockey, whilst they're in the venue, etc. What they do outside we can't really control, but we'll do our best to say to them, look, you become you're good. This is if you're at the top end of the junior game. You become a little bit of a brand, and people know you. As you say, you mentioned social media. The amount of stuff that's out there now. I can talk about a couple of young people, and loads of people know about it because of the social media thing and the promotion and the media. So they need to be aware that even at the age of 14 or 15 years old, they are a little brand, and people know that, and they've just got to behave accordingly.
One thing that I'm keen to ask from you is that how is it looking on the girls' side? Because Paige Pauling is an amazing, talented young woman. What is happening in JDC girls' side?
Massive. So thanks to people like you and other volunteers out there that are running academies or dealing with their nations, there are lots of girls coming through to the JDC system now. Now, it's still early days. We started a program only in 2024 for a particular girls series where we want to highlight these young talented girls to play, promote them, pay them well. We don't want the girls to be seen as just a sideshow. So we've got a really good event for them that runs across a whole weekend. This year, we have a Girls' World Championships. So we've gone that extra stage now because in Gibraltar over the last couple of years, girls are becoming part of the teams and coming with the whole team, as it were. So we're going to put a Girls' World Championship for the first time this year, and we'll keep promoting. We'll keep building because there are lots of girls in the academy system, which is around 6,000 children, and a good portion of that is young ladies and girls. So they need to have something to shoot for. So we've started it off, and let's continue, and we'll see how we go.
So this year is the first year with the Girls' World Championship.
Yep.
That's really nice. I like that because I have 3 girls in my family.
There you go. Well, you're not alone. There's many. So what we've done as well, we've made it an open event. So any girls that wish to come and play, they can. So it's an actual open event because we want to get things going and we want some access here. But if you're in the girls' series, I'm not the best at this, but I think they're seeding the top players, obviously. But if you are any girl from any nation, anywhere in the world, you can enter this tournament. And the only thing we have is an age thing. So you can't be 18 or above, and you can't be under the age of 10. So between that parameter, everybody's welcome.
That sounds nice. How about other visions when we are looking ahead of JDC? Where do you see the JDC World Championship to develop in a few years' time?
Well, I mean, it has developed over the years. We've done additional events either side of it, perhaps, or we've done work in conjunction with other associations, with the WDF even. We've done work where the whole championships has lots to offer, but we feel now that we've got enough 5 days worth of darts that we can do this on our own. You have to remember as well, a junior organisation, we're only 10 years old officially, so we've only been doing world championships out of the UK since about 2019. With COVID in the middle, it's not that long. So we're still learning. I think we may look at some other additional events in the future. We have a relationship with Gibraltar for at least another 3 years, so this year included. So we can plan because we know we've got a fantastic venue, great venue. Gibraltar is also, the other reason we choose this is a working relationship, which is great, but also the logistics of it. Okay, might be difficult for other nations around the world to get to, but they have to perhaps fly into London first or something. But once they're there, it's so accessible. It's very safe. I mean, it's got a border crossing; you can't get out. And has a lovely sort of relaxed feel about it. So when the children and the volunteers and the coaches aren't actually at the darts, they can relax. There's lots of squares and lots of places that they can relax in and enjoy and dinner outside and all sorts. So, yeah, really, really nice place to hold a tournament, yeah.
Sounds good. And I have also heard that there are monkeys in Gibraltar.
Yeah, and that's not the children playing. No, it is at the very tip, the very southern part of Spain, and I think it's one of the most southerly parts of Europe, actually. And we play at a place called Europa Point, and it's literally the very end of the rock. So Gibraltar is essentially a huge rock, and on top of this rock, you are quite correct, there lives monkeys, and you can go and visit them. There's a lot to do there. It's a great day out. You can go up and visit the rock and have a look around the history of how the British utilised that area in the sort of in the conflict times. So yeah, there's a lot of history there, and it is obviously part of the United Kingdom. So, but you also have Spain next door. So if you want to go across the border and have a little visit and have some tapas in Spain or something, we can do that as well. So you can get a good quick fix of 2 different nations.
All right. We started this interview with you about what is the main goal, or we were talking together before we started recording. But I remember when I came to Coventry, the JDC Center of Excellence, you started that day with that everybody can't be professionals, but everybody needs to have the ability to love darts. So is this, it's not maybe exactly quoted as you said, but that's how I remember this quote. But is this the main thing that pursues you and JDC Academy, that we need to give the chance to love darts, not the chance to be world champion? That's
correct. Absolutely, because as we said off camera, there's a lot more to offer than just throwing a dart. I think we're building community projects. But the beauty is that the sport I love and have fun with is so accessible. It's easy to actually play it, but it's hard to play well. So it's very difficult to become that very top player. But anybody can really quite enjoy the game, whether you play with your mum and dad, whether you play with your grandfather, whether you play with your friends next door, anybody. And you don't need a lot of room. You can practice it at home if you've got an academy as well. There's so many good things about the sport. It's not particularly expensive. It's not cheap, but it's not particularly expensive. You can buy a reasonable set of darts for probably £20, whatever that is in your world, and a dartboard for £40 or something, I don't know. So in respect to football, cricket, gymnastics, swimming, basketball, whatever, it's a relatively reasonable sport to get into, and you can get a lot out of it, not just actually winning a darts match. You can get so much more out of having fun with the sport, and you can choose which way you want to enjoy that. And to make that choice, you probably need somewhere to go and have someone explain that to you. And that's what the academy system is all about.
How about one of the main sponsors are Winmau and Red Dragon company? What is the meaning of the support you get from Winmau and Red Dragon?
Yeah, well, look, a lot. For example, if we are looking to develop the sport and we must include the PDC in this as well. It's very much an ecosystem of the three of us, really, trying to bang the drum about the sport in many areas, whether it's adults or children. And Winmau are that centerpiece where they come with us. So we get team to support us. We get team to help us make. They do all sorts of things, whether it's digital marketing, offering children stuff, kit supply for academies. We do an event, and I might need some stuff quickly to go and do an event somewhere in a school or in a college or in a park. I don't know, whatever. And they're just there to support with that kind of quick fix of equipment, but also a relationship with the coaches. So Winmau have about 115 academies, I think it is now, and just recently have decided they're going to invest a huge amount of time, money, and equipment into the academy system. So again, that was only really sort of put into place in April. So still early days, but there's so much on offer for the Winmau academies going forward. But it's about relationship. It's just having someone at the end of an email. So if you're a coach or a volunteer and you just think, actually, I'm just going to ask Winmau whether they can help me with this. Do they supply this? How much is it going to cost me? Whatever. Can I get some discount? Whatever it is. So it's just nice that you've got us, Winmau, and the PDC, which is all sort of linked in with that ecosystem. So for me, Red Dragon and Winmau are a support network in many things. It's not just about a dartboard.
How about Winmau? Are they going to have some new products that helps the kids to hit the doubles?
Yeah, massively. So in about 2015, 16, I can't remember an exact year, we developed a board. Winmau produced a board for us called the Green Zone, and that was a normal dartboard but with a great big green bit in the middle. And the idea with that was to be able to do adjusted scoring, like a handicap system, where a player of certain standard could play a player of a different standard, and they could sort of meet like a level playing field. It would take the fear out of finishing. So what the two things that children seem to have, anybody can, as I said, it's easy to play. Anybody can throw a dart at a dartboard. The two fundamental things are the fear of finishing. So trying to hit that double is pretty hard, and doing the maths. So scoring, marking, whatever you call it. So we developed that board with Winmau. However, we've now got a new product, and it's been launched in the US a week ago, and we are now going to put it into action. We're going to utilize the new equalizer board, which has bigger doubles area, bigger trebles area, but also has the green zone in the middle. So academies, the public, people at home, etc., can get their children to start enjoying the sport, because it's easy to throw, but then to start trying to learn the finishing and assist them a little bit. You do the same. I'm not sure what you do in Finland, but in the UK with soccer, for example, little children don't play in a massive adult goal. You know, you have smaller goals, smaller pitches, little balls to play with. This is a way of trying to get children to enjoy our sport, feel they can compete. I can actually hit that area that I'm aiming for. And hopefully their interest and their enjoyment continues a bit longer. If we just used a normal dartboard and told them to try and hit double 16 every 5 minutes, it might be a bit of a problem. So we've got to have a tool to be able to allow them to compete. And the Wimbledon's equaliser board will be on general sale probably in the autumn, but at the moment we're using it and making sure that we've got all that backup. So when people go, how do you use it? We can tell them. So we've done a launch. We've had an academy throw some stuff at it. We've got some testing going on for games down in Bristol. We're now taking 5 of these equaliser boards to the it's called BST in the Park. It's a huge event in Hyde Park in London, and we've got some schools coming into a massive marquee, and we're going to do some stuff with them utilising the equaliser board. So yeah, stay tuned on that one.
Has the rumor right that we're going to have some equaliser boards in the Finnish JDC?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you will. Yeah, they're going to be every Winmore Academy will be given these tools to utilise, and then eventually we've got a community of young people practicing their darts on this kind of board, and then it's up to the coach and the parents and etc. You'll have that discussion where you think, actually, I think my child's pretty good now, and they'll just move on and migrate to the standard dartboard and standard playing when they're ready. And that's what academies are for, aren't they? They're for guidance and saying, look, I think you're ready. Perhaps you ought to try an event, or maybe you should try and move up to the normal dartboard.
Yeah, one thing that I like the most about this equalizer board, it's a parent can play with their children at home, because you have the original trebles and doubles in the board, and you have the larger trebles and doubles, so you can play with your kids at home. Okay, I need to hit the original treble, you can hit the bigger treble, so it's more like handicapped system, and it's joyful. It's not like that. Okay, I start from 10,001 and you start from 201 or something like that.
Yeah. There's the academy system has a grading system in it, which is target shooting, 57 different targets you shoot, and at the end of the day, that will give the children some kind of level of where they're at. And that's where you can benchmark to say, right, you're playing off this 301, whatever it is, and somebody might be off 501. So yeah, you need to understand the level of ability first, then you can go and play and utilise these aids like the equaliser board.
Darren, here at the end, if you could speak directly to every young player dreaming of becoming a world champion, what would you say to them?
Think about it, dream it, think about it, dream it. Then practice, and get out there. Just start playing. Get out there, play at home, play at the academy, play at an event. Go and find Miko and play him and play. Just tell your friends at school how wonderful it is, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, if you keep dreaming that and you keep playing, well, we're here. The JDC has a circuit. It has opportunities with it, with our partners. And you've seen how Luke Littler has developed. Okay, he's a phenomenon. He's done very well, but there are lots of others behind him that have done very well indeed already around the world. Jan van Veen is another one. Bradley Brooks was one, still is. You've got all sorts of young, talented players. And we've got a new generation coming through, and we want you as part of it.
Darren, thank you really much for sharing your story and your heart with us. it's clear that JDC Finland is going to be a big thing because we get this support from you from UK, and I'm looking forward to the JDC next level training programs, and most of all, I'm looking forward to go to Rock in the
the road to the Rock starts next week.
Yeah, that's true. Road to the Rock starts next week.
It does indeed, and you're part of it.
Yeah. So thank you. This is heartwarming.
Not a problem at all. Anytime.
Tika, hei ton mestarit,